Hello, welcome to this week's energy update and spirit animal reading. My name is Ona Christie. My channel is Art of Awakening, and we're moving into this week of May 17th, 2020, and moving into a new moon and just moving to the Gemini season. New moon in Gemini on Thursday. And feeling like this could be a little shift here in energy. We've been kind of floating through some beautiful Taurus energy, and this may actually start to pick things up just a little bit at the end of May here. So let's start out with, I'm going to start out by sharing some of the current energies that I'm sensing right now, including an beautiful archangelic energy that is really coming forward for me a lot, and I'm hoping for you as well. And then we'll pull a few cards to round it out and, for the week ahead. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's get started. Before we start, I'd like to give a great big heartfelt thank you to all those who have signed up for soul visioning sessions this month. It's a pleasure to work with all of you, and big gratitude for that. I am offering these soul visioning sessions this month on a sliding scale by donation basis. So if you're interested in signing up for one, the link is below. So energies, I just want to talk a little bit about the energies that have been coming up this whole past week, because I think they're building into something. And a lot of it seems to be, at least from my experience, is the divine feminine is really strong, and looking at especially the divine mother, okay, because there's many aspects of the divine feminine, and the divine mother has been really coming forward. And I think this is really a beautiful thing, and I think it's going to set the stage for some very interesting unfoldings to be happening this summer, because if you think about it, it's like the mother is where everything starts. And so if you want to open to this energy, it really has a lot to do with being completely loved and completely, this is a very nurturing mother kind of energy. I mean, there's many aspects of the mother too, but this is really the womb space. This is the nurturing, the holding, the really being held and being fully loved on all levels. And it's an absolutely beautiful energy that I've just keeps coming forward. And associated with that, not even associated with it, but kind of related to it is another aspect of the divine feminine, which is one of the Archaia. And these are the feminine counterparts to the archangels. You're probably familiar with a lot of the archangels, but many people aren't as familiar with the feminine counterparts. So this is the Lady Grace, and she is, she represents the feminine aspect of the energy that's known as Archangel Uriel. And he's known as the Archangel of Light, as well as being a master of form. So Uriel is an angelic energy that works very closely with the earth, with the planet Earth, and structure, and really I feel that he's a very kind of creative energy in a way that assists in just creating very strong and healthy structures here on the earth, right, relating to the planet herself, to even architecture, all that sort of thing, anything that has a physical form, including probably the human body as well. So the Lady Grace is the feminine counterpart to this archangel, right? And she works with light as well, but she is very much associated with some of the beautiful kind of colored light in the Earth's atmosphere. So this would include the rainbow, right? The rainbow color spectrum, those energies, and the aurora, like the aurora borealis, the northern lights, and there's a southern aurora as well. And so if you look at these beautiful light displays that our planet has upon it, and that's associated with her. So she is also, if you feel into her energy, she has a lot to do with like the universal love, very heart opening, as well as beauty and creativity, like the creative arts. She's really, I have a really deep connection, I think, with her, even though she's an archangel that I haven't really been all that familiar with. But as this keeps coming up, as Grace keeps coming up this week, and I've realized, it's like, oh my gosh, I look back at this painting that I did about a year and a half ago, and I realized this week is like, oh my gosh, that's who it is. It's the Lady Grace. She's also known as Rainbow Aurora because of her association with the rainbow and the aurora lights. And she's also works with the sacral chakra a lot. Okay, so she's really coming forward, and when I asked for her guidance for this week, she reminded me that all light, and therefore like the energy that comes to the world, is freely given, right? The energy from the sun is where we get the vast majority of our physical energy here on the planet that drives everything. It drives the planet. It's all, ultimately, it is freely given from above, okay? And so when we feel into, just really let that sink in, okay? Everything material on the planet is given to us freely, right? And human beings, it's us human beings that decide, we've made this collective decision that to scrap over little bits of the planet and stuff. And yes, there's we do have to share and so forth, but to ultimately realize that it's all a gift. Everything that we have is a gift, and it's given by grace, right? It's given by grace. And when we start to open up to that energy, it really opens doors, because when we realize that things do come in by grace, right? And we receive, and in order to enter that state of grace where we're really in that receiving mode, it's necessary having that Divine Mother connection is really a prerequisite, because it prepares us when we're really enfolded in that unconditional love, and we feel that we are loved fully and completely and unconditionally. That is, when we really understand that the divine love is here for us, and we are always loved. When that understanding begins to sink in, that's what allows us to enter into this state of grace and begin to really receive what is actually here for us, and it can be amazing. So the other thing that she's encouraging is expect miracles, and it's okay to expect miracles, right? What is it that you really, what are your heart's desires? And to hold that expectation that, yes, we can have those, and yes, they can be given to us. They can come in by grace. And so that is an energy that is, I believe, right now on this earth, starting to really build, or the potential for it, right? Because everybody's on their own timeline, and not everybody is going to be open to that. But I think for those people who are willing to step into that, I believe that this beautiful grace is really streaming onto the planet right now. I can feel it. So all right, so that is just something to kind of keep under consideration for the coming week, and actually forever. And if you've come to this video just for learning a little bit more about Rainbow Aurora, I hope that this has helped to illuminate this beautiful Archaia for you. So I'm going to move into now the reading for this week. And even if you've come here sometime well past the time that this is actually, that I'm reading for, it's going to have something in it here for you. So I'm going to be using two decks. So the first is my Spirit Animal Awareness deck, and that is this one right here. And then the other one is the Colette Baron Reed, the Spirit Animal deck, as well as the Spirit Animal Oracle. And I really like her deck as well. So the first card to come up, oh boy, okay, so this is interesting. My deck contains 2 blank cards. And the reason for that is I only had a limited number of cards that I could put in the deck, but there are literally billions of different animals on the earth, and this way you have your choice when this comes up. You can either actually draw in an animal, and if you have a favorite animal that you want to put in the deck, you can do that, or you can, if you're working with a person, you can ask them if there's an animal that they're really drawn to, or if they feel like they have a spirit animal, and that would be it. Or you can do what I often do, which is to just feel in and see if there's an animal or what animal wants to come forward. So I'm going to do that right now. Just ask for an animal to come forward for this week with guidance and message for this week of May 17th, 2020, realizing that all time is relative. And I'm just getting an image. Sometimes they're a little slower to come in, and I'm getting an image, and I believe it's a crocodile. So I'm sort of getting this almost snaky feeling, but it's definitely not a snake. I'm seeing this ridgy back, and it feels like he's swimming towards us, right? Swimming towards us. So I'm going to ask for the crocodile to see what message this animal has for us. And crocodile can be, yeah, it's an interesting animal, right? It was considered sacred, of course, in ancient Egypt. And so there's a lot of power, okay? This is a reptile, so it's really going to be speaking to some of the very either base instincts or very primal kind of things coming in, or working with those energies. I'm also getting a very solar feel for this particular animal, okay? So something about the sun, the light coming in, and there's a lot of strength coming in here. And I'm going to just let that sort of sink and feel into that while I pull another card here, because sometimes the cards work together in conjunction, and you don't always know what that's going to mean until you pull one or two more. So I'm going to be pulling one from let's deck here. Let's see, asking for clarification on what the crocodile is wanting to tell us. Okay, this is wasp spirit, right? So these are some very interesting animals here. Wasp, of course, has the sting, and it's sometimes life stings, right? So this does not mean that this week has to be painful, right? Even though we've got these two powerful and actually dangerous animals coming up here, it does not mean that it has to be painful. It could be, you know, something that comes up, and this is asking to kind of just ask for grace around whatever might come up, right? But also sometimes when hardships come in, they are the like the dragon at the door, right? When things are difficult, a lot of times that's when we're about to cross over a threshold, right? And so there's this guardian at the gate kind of thing that can happen when we're about to make a huge shift forward. A lot of times all the creepy crawlies will come out, you know, every dark thing or whatever is going to potentially sometimes will come up, and it's because they're being flushed out, it's because they're being threatened, it's because you're about to just transcend, right? So this could be for some of us a week where it's this little showdown before we really step into something big, into something beautiful, right? So this is just a heads up. If you find that all of a sudden things are crashing around you, that things are, you know, if interesting things happen, don't feel like you're sliding backwards. Don't feel like it's, you know, a disaster. It could be just that you're about to enter into something new. This is a testing time typically when that happens. And it's just like, can you have that grace under pressure, right? Can you keep calm in the midst of the storm? And the final one is frog, which again is a transformation animal. So this really is a confirmation that we may be at the threshold of a huge transformation. I've been feeling for quite some time that, you know, and I don't want to necessarily I don't look at this as fortune telling, but I'm just telling you what kind of the energies that I'm feeling. I'm feeling in June a lot of very interesting, very beautiful, magical, and possibly transformative, a lot of energy in June I'm feeling. And so what this is kind of telling me is that this, for a lot of us, and it may not be true for everybody, again, we're all on different timelines, but for a lot of us, or for the collective, for the planet herself, could be another very, very significant transformational event happening this June. And I'm feeling like probably around the solstice, around the eclipses or whatever, but this end of May could be just like this little portal, this little transition, this little speed bump a little bit before that happens. So this doesn't mean just, don't take this as any kind of, it's just like sort of a heads up to be take extra care of yourself this week, and really work on the breathing, work on the, keeping yourself in a beautiful kind of calm space. Anything that you can do to make sure that you can stay collected and cool and healthy and able to just kind of stay in that grace field this week. All right, so you have a lovely week. Thanks again. You might want to give a little love to that thumbs up button if you've enjoyed this, and we'll catch you again next week.